Hi, my name is Matthew Hunter, and as a tennis player, you often get told it's the player that makes the racket, and the racket, instead of the racket that makes the player. Now, there is some truth to this statement, in that it does matter what racket you choose, whether it's the graphite model or a later model, or earlier models. I'm going to talk to you about three models of the tennis racket, three areas of the tennis racket rather: the wooden framed, the steel framed, and the graphite framed. Now, the wooden framed rackets came around in 1874 and were used up until the 1980s. In 1947, according to Sports Complex, these rackets were improved by using a laminate. This laminate gave the racket more durability and stability for the players as they struck the ball harder and harder. The most famous model of this racket was the Wilson Jack Kramer, and according to my source, Jack Sheehy, a tennis professional at Rivercrest Country Club, certified by the United States Tennis Association, these rackets ran around $35 to $40. Now, in 1968, the game of tennis was revolutionized when Wilson came out with a new model of the steel-framed racket. Now, this model was the T2000, also ran around $35 to $40, and had a much smaller sweet spot. This racket, as a steel frame, was not allowed on the courts unless it had a racket bumper guard to prevent the racket from damaging any of the tennis courts. Jimmy Connors used this racket and made it famous by winning 8 major titles using this racket, up until 1984. Now, in 1984, the new modern era of the racket came out, and this is made using graphite. Today, these rackets run around $189 to $200. Now, this racket has a much larger sweet spot and offers more control for each tennis player. These rackets are strung around 57 to 60 pounds, as the wooden rackets and the steel frame rackets range from 50 pounds to 80 pounds. Now, one thing I need to mention is that for the wooden rackets, there was a wooden press that players would store their rackets with, so as not to warp the racket under the great tension that they were strung under. Now, in the 1990s, USC's Illumin, an engineering magazine, released an article about the evolution of the tennis game, and these rackets were usually a standard of 27 inches, but Michael Chang, around 5'9", used a 28-inch racket. Now, this racket gave him more leverage and more power. So today, the latest model of the tennis racket have computer technology added to it. This Babolat Play has a computer chip in the bottom of the racket, and this allows you to see where you're striking the ball on the racket head, and this can help you analyze your game to improve it further. It gives you more topspin and more control. This racket ranges around $400. So we started around $35 to $40, and we multiplied that by it increased by a factor of 10. So these three models of the racket have improved in technology, and next time you're out on the court, if you're borrowing a racket, don't get framed, and make sure you choose the right racket for your game. Thank you very much.